All right, people who fly parrots have different ideas about what's involved in flying parrots. And I believe this comes from the way we fly the birds, the different styles of flying birds. All right, so let's take the guy who does indoor flying only. He flies them in the living room, or he flies them in a cage, a big aviary. He's going to tell you, oh, my bird's a wonderful flyer. If I fly the bird in the house, he sort of laps in the living room, and you try to close the door, he goes zipping through the door before you can close it. He's a great flyer. He's in great physical shape. Yeah, right. He's in great physical shape compared to the bird who lives in a cage, yes. Is he anywhere near as good a shape as my birds or her birds? No. Not even close. Flying indoors is nothing like flying outdoors. Flying indoors is like walking out to the street and checking the mail. Flying outdoors is like running a marathon. They're night and day different, okay? Luckily, they get in good shape pretty fast. But anyway, they're nowhere near the same. But is the guy wrong when he tells me that his bird's a wonderful flyer in the house and he's in great shape? No, he's not wrong. He's basing this on his perception and his experiences. So he's not really wrong. He's not quite right, but I wouldn't call him wrong. You understand what I mean? This is what is influencing his understanding of flight. This is what he does. Okay, so now let's go to the guy who works at the zoo. Works for the zoo, doesn't own the birds. He's going to tell you that recall is critically important. Oh my God, it's terribly important, because that's the only thing he has to keep from losing the bird. He doesn't know how to fly this bird in a way. He's not allowed to fly this bird in a way to develop all these other abilities that can go along with it. So he has to have rigid recall. He's going to keep the bird's body weight 10% below what it normally would be, to keep the animal in a state of hunger, to keep him coming reliably. Because that's the only way he has to fly the bird in front of the audience. Takes the bird out of the cage, flies him back and forth in front of the audience, and puts him back in the cage, gets a different bird out. Right? That's his options. That is going to have an impact on how he perceives flight, isn't it? That's his experience. That's the way he understands flying parrots. So now, if we go to the next zoo, another zoo, these guys have learned that they can fly the birds and have them circle over the audience until they call them and they come down. That's what we call freestyle flying, compared to point-to-point flying. So he's free to go where he wants until we call him down. Okay, so if you talk to these trainers, and I have, what they will tell you is that the first thing they had to do to teach that behavior was they had to relax their weight management. They couldn't use weight management anymore. If you kept the animal hungry enough, he was too hungry to go do his own thing. He's so focused on getting food from you, okay, because he's on the verge of starving. So they had to relax their recall. Their recall wouldn't be as good because they gave up some of their hunger management. They have a different perception of what's involved in flying the birds now, don't they? Their understanding is based on a different style of flying. They're going to perceive it differently. All right, so you can also talk to people who do at-liberty flying. Sylvia turns her birds loose. Boom, gone. Spend the day. A lot of people do this. Most people that do at-liberty flying don't do it in the city like this. Most people have a place in the country. She won't live here long, huh? Don't worry. She won't live here long. She's going to buy a place in the country. It's coming. I know it. Anyway. All right, so what people do that live out in the country, their birds, they don't run off to the park because the park is around their house. So they hang out all around the house all the time. A lot of times, those people have no recall at all. They can't call the bird down. They know that the bird's going to come down in the evening because the bird wants to go to bed, wants to have dinner. Dinner's in the house. His cage is in the house. So they don't have to worry about recall because they can get the bird to come in at night before it gets dark. Okay? So they have no recall at all. Yet they can still fly the birds. I have flown birds, wild-caught birds, that I couldn't pick up on my hand to save my life. Couldn't pick them up for nothing. But I could turn them loose and fly every day, and they'd be back in their cage every night. Done it. Right? All right. And then we have what I call sport flying. Sport flying is where we're taking the bird to different destinations, different locations. And we're going to fly the bird to these different locations. So the trick to this is making sure your bird is ready for that location. Okay? So maybe you want to go fly your bird at your mom's house. You want to take the bird to visit mom, and you want to fly your bird while you're at mom's house. Does your mom live in a big open field? Does your mom live in suburbia where you got lots of houses around her? Does she live in the city like this? It's going to make a difference, isn't it? Is your bird ready for the conditions at your mom's house? This is sport flying. We have to be able to evaluate the location and evaluate the bird's skill level, so we don't mix them up, right? Don't give them the wrong location. Okay, so the reason I call it sport flying is because what happens is you start out flying level 1, then you go to level 2, then you go to level 3, go to level 4. The birds are developing skills. After a while, you're flying them from the top of a 1,000-foot cliff. And then you're at the beach, and you're standing on a cliff overlooking the beach, and you're thinking, oh, this would be a great place to fly the birds. Make some great video and photo at the beach here. But is your bird ready for flying at the beach? And you might say, no, he's not. But I can get him ready. And you start working on it. And eventually you go to that place at the beach and you fly your bird there. So you start looking for more and more fun places to fly the birds. That's where the sport component comes in. Okay? It becomes a sport to find these cool places to fly your birds. And so you're using all the others in there as well. But this is kind of like the ultimate in flying parrots. When you get to where you can go fly them anywhere you want, that's when it gets really fun. Okay.
A gente vai fazer encontros nacionais oficiais de voo livre aqui no Brasil, pelo menos um por ano. Então, bora treinar esses passarinhos aí pra gente poder ir.
Mês que vem já vai ter.
You can do it.
You couldn't hear it because you did. So I was just saying we are going to have official meetings for free flights here in Brazil at least once a year. So, oi? Yeah,
You have lots of.
Regional 5 mega location, okay, but we are going to choose nice places for you beginners. Desculpa, eu falei tudo em inglês. Que a última vez que a gente fez um encontro nacional, que a gente realmente encontrou todas as araras treinadas para voo livre, a gente foi para o lugar nível 5. Mas é claro que esse ano a gente vai escolher um lugar nível 2 ou 3, assim, vocês têm tempo de treinar as aves de vocês até lá. E se vocês quiserem ir, a gente vai colocar umas regrinhas e vocês são muito bem-vindos.
It's a lot of fun getting together with other people in groups like this and flying at these fun places. It's really just
A gente vai se encarregar de
really a lot of
fazer
fun.
isso acontecer de fato, oficialmente, todos os anos aqui. Só para nós que fizemos o curso.
Okay, the last style of flying. The last style of flying we don't have with parrots yet. Pigeon people and falconers, they get together, they have competitions. There's not enough parrot people doing this yet to get together and have competitions, but it's coming. It'll happen. And that's where what we do is we train, we identify some behaviors, some tasks, and we train those tasks and we see whose birds can do the best job at flying those tasks. All right. So the main thing I want you to take away from this right now is recognizing that people fly their birds differently. That is going to impact the way they perceive the concept of flying. And that's going to create some disagreement in areas where people aren't recognizing that we have these different styles that influences our perception of flight.